Okay, today we're going to look at some simple shell scripts. As you can see here, in my main menu I only have 4 files. All of those files are scripts that we're going to run at some point. So the first one is our file system, but let's look at it first in our editor. Basically all a script is a series of commands that they'll be run one by one, and it can be used for many different purposes. This one creates an entire file system tree structure. It starts with making a directory, changing directory, making files, empty files, changing directories, and making more files. So the way this looks, if we run it and type bash file system, and then at the end of each one I put echo file system complete, just so I know that it's done what it's supposed to do. So now when we look, we have main as a new folder. So if we go in, we can change directory to main. It's got all the directories. If we go to directory 2, you'll see that there's file 1 and directory 2. Now go back to the main and we'll run the copy script. It says copy complete, and what that did was it went to directory 2 right here where we have file 1, and it copied file 1 to file2.txt. So let's take a look at that. You see file1, file2.txt. So that's just one example of copying files. You can use scripts to copy one file. You can use it to copy a bunch of files. You can copy them to a server, to different directories, to make backups and whatever you need to do. Now, some things that are helpful to use when you're making scripts is a decision structure, and I've created another script called test that will use the decision structure, and we'll look at it in our editor first. And basically what this does is it changes directory to main, changes directory to directory 2, and then it says if move file 2 to file 3, that's where the decision is made. It changes, then it will display rename complete. Otherwise, it'll put rename incomplete, and this is just the output of the file. If it's a 0, it means it was complete. If it's a 1, it means that it was incomplete. And then fi is basically the equivalent of end if. So if we run this, I'll say rename complete, output 0, so we can look again, directory 2, and we'll see that it renamed file 2.txt to file 3.txt, so it's run fully. The other thing that will be useful when you're doing scripts is a loop command. I did one that has nothing to do with the file system that we created, but it's called loop, so we'll just run it. And basically it displays weekday 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is out of the book Programming Logic and Design, and it's a simple one, but if you look at it in the editor, you can see how you can use loops. This is a for loop, and basically it assigns the number 1 to I, and then it assigns day is a variable, so it's assigning Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to day every time it goes through this loop. So it goes do echo weekday, and then it iterates the number, and then it displays day, which is these days, and then done. And it continues to do that until it runs out of days to assign. And you can use those in loops to continue copying something until it's complete. These are just ways that you can use scripts. It's a basic overview. There's plenty more that you can do with them to make life a lot simpler when using Linux.